Today's lesson is on identifying opposites. You guys know what opposites are. The opposite of happy is sad. The opposite of fun is social studies. You know, the opposite of ugly is Mr. Merriman. So now that you know what opposites are, our learning target today is to be able to find the opposite of a number. Vocabulary words. Opposite number is a number that uses the same digit but the other sign. Now this could be a little bit tricky because not all numbers have signs. Well, they actually all have a sign, but you don't see it. So the opposite of -2 is 2. Notice that you don't really see the sign on both of them. So the sign on the first number is a negative. The sign on the second number is a positive, but we don't write plus. So when we talk about the other sign, we mean either positive or negative. Okay, that'll become more clear as we go, I hope. Next term, absolute value. It means how far a number is from 0 on a number line. So there's a notation you need to understand. These two lines like that mean absolute value. So the absolute value of -3 is how far -3 is from 0. That's a 3, by the way. Okay. How far is -3 from 0? How many spaces is it from 0? The absolute value of -3 is 3 because it's 3 spaces from 0. The absolute value of 3, how far is 3 from 0? It's 3 spaces. So absolute value is always positive. Okay? Because we're talking about a distance from 0, and distance is always positive. Okay? So that's enough about absolute value. I just got to make sure that you understand that that's what these symbols mean, and that absolute value means how far, or the distance from 0 on a number line. All right, so here's our steps. To identify the opposite of a number, we're going to first see how far the number is from 0. We're going to find its absolute value. Then we're going to find the number on the number line that's the same distance from 0, but on the other side of 0. Okay? Two things you need that you should note. The opposite of 0 is 0, and the sum of opposite numbers is 0. Okay? So what I mean there is that -2 plus 2, those are opposite numbers. Their sum is 0. Whenever you add together two opposite numbers, you get 0. The sum of 4 and -4, 0. Anytime you add together two opposites, you get 0. All right, so here's some examples for your notes. The opposite of 2 is, and I've already told you the answer to this, but if we put a number line down, and I don't expect you to do this, 2 would be right here. To find its opposite, you have to figure out how far from 0 is it. It's 2 spaces from 0. And go on to the other side of 0, 2 spaces, and the number that's over there is -2. Who'd have guessed? Okay, let's look at the next example. The opposite of -3 is, so we find -3 on the number line. 1, 2, 3, -3 is right there. It's 3 spaces from 0. So its opposite is also 3 spaces from 0, just on the other side. So it's going to be 3. The opposite of -3 is 3. All right. The opposite of 0, I think I've told you before, the opposite of 0 is 0. Because 0 is no spaces from 0 on the number line. So you have to go no spaces on the other side of 0, which is still 0. Confusing, huh? All right, next. Here's your quick check. What is the opposite of -6? Get that done, and see me at the next station.